Welcome viewers. One of my biggest concerns has been this Unrwa thing, and exclusive Hamas had command tunnel under UN Gaza headquarters. Israeli militaries found this. There it is, Unrwa. There's a woman in our Senate, Marine Farquhar. I don't know how you pronounce the second name, and I'm not being disrespectful to her, I just can't pronounce it. This is her here. I'll come out of the picture. Let's listen to what Ms. Farquhar has to say. Sorry guys, this is a new program, I don't know. Let's see what she's got to say. Now remember, this is our taxpayers' money. I've got every right to listen to what's going on here and try and understand why these tens of millions of dollars of Australian taxpayers' money is getting sent to Palestine.
Almost 28,000 Palestinians who have been killed by Israeli attacks.
Right, she needs to be a Palestinian senator confronting the Israeli Senate, not our Senate.
70% of those killed are reported to be women and children, and another almost 68,000 Palestinians who are injured, as well as 156 Unrwa staff who have been killed as of 10th of February.
Now 156 Unrwa staff, these Unrwa people, right, the majority of them that work for Unrwa are Palestinian and involved with Hamas. Oh, goodness sake, wake up Australia, please. Wake up. This woman's a radical. She's got into our Senate.
Minister, on 27th January, you announced suspension of funding for Unrwa, along with some other nations.
Along with 10 or 12 other nations, right? Because Unrwa is primarily run by Palestinians who are directly involved with Hamas. Now, she's not going to tell you that.
Effectively punishing 2 million people in Gaza by depriving them of critical support.
That is a lie. Hamas uses Unrwa as a surrogate parent for the Palestinian people, while Hamas is using their money to build tunnels like rats for terrorism, right? Unrwa is supposed to be as a surrogate parent due to the negligence of Hamas as the government of Palestine, who've ruined everything they've put their hands on. They're using Unrwa as a surrogate parent for the Palestinians, but even then they're corrupting that.
Unrwa provides. This is really tantamount to the Australian government further inflicting...
No, it's not. This is really paramount to the Australian government further inflicting
collective punishment on Palestinians.
Collective punishment on Palestinians. How are we inflicting punishment on the Palestinians? Anything we give them is given out of goodwill.
And is in addition to the shielding and aiding of the state of Israel in its mission to annihilate Gaza.
This woman is an extreme radical. I don't know how she's got under the guard of the people that select these senators, but she's like a Palestinian representative facing our foreign minister, Penny Wong, as though she's on a war trial. I think it's disgusting. I think it's horrible. I don't know why she's got this video on her YouTube channel. It's distasteful, it's horrible, and it's taxpayers' money that she's after.
And massacre tens of thousands of Palestinians. Minister, you have said that you spoke to Unrwa chief, Mr. Philippe Lazzarini, on the 7th of February, which is 11 days after you announced the suspension of the agency's funding based on allegations made by Israel. Minister, did you speak to Mr. Lazzarini before you announced the suspension of funding to Unrwa?
Let me just say straight out, Penny Wong doesn't need to speak to Mr. Lazzarini or any of these people, they're puppets, Palestinian puppets, to suspend anything. Penny Wong's done it on behalf of the Australians, the Australian taxpayers, and you've got to commend Penny Wong for this.
Well, first, I'm going to take issue with the very inflammatory language you've just used. And I want to place on record my deep concern at the way in which some in this debate, I include some members of the Coalition and some members of the Greens, are seeking to engage in what is a very difficult discussion in ways which are inflammatory, relying on often untruths.
Is it untrue?
And this woman has driven Penny Wong round the bend, and she's had enough of her. And you can see by this woman here that it's not good. They're not. She's a very distasteful woman.
That almost 30,000 Palestinians have been killed.
Excuse me, I listen to you politely.
We know the rules.
I listen to you with courtesy.
Please let the Minister finish.
I listen to you with courtesy. I'd ask you that you extend the same to me. The fact is that there is a humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. I have said that. I would say, Senator Faruqi, even in that question, and in many questions you have asked, you persist in making
telling the truth,
inflammatory assertions which are not true.
Minister, did you speak to Mr. Lazzarini before you made an announcement to suspend funding? I'm sorry, that's my question. Could you please answer that question?
Well, you just have to wait for that question till the Minister just concludes her answer to your first question.
Thank you.
That is my first question.
Well,
okay.
there was
and we'll
a lot.
Come to it.
Senator Faruqi, you made a lot of loaded assertions, and I'm entitled to respond to them, actually. And I would remind you that we have seen incidents in our community, which included laying false corpses outside of MPs' offices, threatening emails and phone calls to staff in electorate offices, weaponising the imagery of deceased children, spraying fake blood on shop fronts of electorate offices. We have staff who are intimidated and threatened. And what I would say to you is your party has a responsibility, as all of us do, to not legitimise that by using inflammatory language and perpetuating untruths. Because that is what
telling the truth is not inflammatory language. No one is perpetuating untruths. Which
untruths? You are asserting that we have cut funding to Unrwa.
You have suspended funding to Unrwa. That is what I have asserted.
And this has been the problem with this woman. And viewers, I'm going to go now to our next clip on what's happening with Unrwa. Remember, it's primarily run by Palestinians. There's a couple of European leaders in it. They're out of touch with it. Unrwa's selling a lot of the humanitarian aid that's being sent. Hamas is selling a lot of it on the black market. They're making millions. You'll see that the Palestinian people are complaining that the Unrwa humanitarian aid is not reaching them, and this is part of what they've found, the latest in this Israel's defence of itself after the terrorism that they've suffered at the hands of Palestine. So it's an Unrwa building, it's a headquarters. It's all Unrwa, look, Unrwa, there's the sign. Unrwa. This is the Unrwa headquarters, right? We pay for this. Our taxpayers' money's being sent to this. Look at it, it's all wasted, ruined, wrecked.
We think that the Hamas, before they fled from here, they cut the cables.
That's good. Okay.
I'm going to sit down. We know it was created for the underground. There are no communications meant to go in the underground. Doesn't matter if it's Unrwa, doesn't matter if it's any organization. No organization. Think of your house. What communications go underground? None. You have Wi-Fi, you have other communications. Nothing goes underground. There's no need for cables going underground, unless you have underground system tunnels.
Okay, now what they're saying is these cables are running out of the Unrwa building, directly out of the Unrwa building, and they've cut them knowing that they're going to get caught.
In Gaza, there aren't regular tunnels like you have these cables go down to the underground. They were cut here. This is one of the central commands of the intelligence. This place is one of the Hamas's intelligence units.
So the Unrwa building is the central intelligence unit for Hamas,
where they command most of the combat from here, but from the underground.
From under the Unrwa building. Oh, for goodness sake.
We're going.
That'll maybe give you a gut punch.
There's the cables going down. I think we should suspend money going to the Middle East altogether. This is the wiring from the Unrwa building. Look, they've built tunnels like rats. This is underneath the Unrwa building.
What? Do you know what that poster says?
No. I know what this means. This is not humanitarian aid.
Okay.
We had a walk of approximately 400 meters at the depth of 20 meters. And before, we were in the Unrwa headquarters, above, on ground. Now, we're underneath.
This is underneath the Unrwa headquarters. Wake up, Australia, for goodness sake. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, great.
You see it from there. This is the tunnel we dug. This is the service room.
Now you've paid for this. The money that we send to Unrwa has paid for this. Wake up, Australia.
You good?
Yeah. Unclear how this water got down.
Hundreds of millions of dollars invested in these tunnels. Look at the cabling, viewers. Right, this is where the terrorists stay. Right. There's all the humanitarian aid. That's humanitarian aid. You're paying for all of this. That's a really well done area under the right down under the ground. And remember, this cabling is being given its sources from the Unrwa headquarters. Oh, for goodness sake, don't be ignorant. Please don't be ignorant.
Everything is conducted from here. All the energy for the tunnels, which you walk through them, are powered from here. Look around, take pictures. You can see everything here. It's state-of-the-art electricity, so it can work 24/7.
State-of-the-art electricity supplied from the Unrwa headquarters. Toilets, you name it. The Palestinians don't want you to know, well, the Palestinian radicals, Islamists, don't want you to know all this.
You're coming? You're staying?
They're saying it's a genocide. Look, nobody wants to see civilians killed on either side. That's not my point. My point is, we've got an Islamic radical senator who's screaming at our foreign minister, or did in the past, I'm just showing you by example, about restricting the funding to Unrwa. And here we have Unrwa's headquarters supplying directly electricity to state-of-the-art terrorist equipment. We need to wake up. Okay, now Unrwa is used to educate. They went into education, Islamic radical education. Okay, with the bottom line of it being, you don't like Jews, and if you get a chance, kill them, right?
You're about to hear some of the most troubling audio. This has been released by Israel in front of the United Nations, which Israel believes has not been fair to it. In fact, Israel's envoy to the United Nations has called for the resignation of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in a very familiar clash with the United Nations foreign body. What you're about to hear is audio of a Hamas terrorist who picked up the phone of someone he had killed in a kibbutz on October the 7th to phone his family back in Gaza to boast about what he had achieved. These are the horrors and the grays of a war that's gone on for too long. Viewer discretion as you watch this report.
يابا انا قاعد بكلمك من جوبا بسيم. افتح الواتس تبعه قول له وين.
Open my WhatsApp now.
شوف كيف قتلت بيدي يابا ابنك.
Your son
قتل يهود.
killed Jews.
هاي دخل مفلسين.
My God protect you.
يابا. يابا.
Dad, I'm talking to you from a Jewish woman's phone.
بكلمك من جوال يهودية قتلتها وقتلت جوزها.
I killed her and her husband.
عشرة بيدي يابا قتلت.
I killed 10 people with my own hands.
عشرة. يابا 10 بيدي قتلت.
Dad, 10 with my own hands. Now this is what they're teaching them in the Unrwa schools, right? Dad, open WhatsApp and see how I killed Dad. Open the phone, Dad. I'm calling you on WhatsApp. Open the phone. Go. Dad, I'm talking from Meth Al-Sim. I killed 10 people. 10. 10 with my own hands. Their blood is on their hands. No, buddy, their blood is on your hands. Put mum on. Oh, my son, God bless you. I swear, 10 with my own hands, mother. This is what they're getting taught in the Unrwa schools. right? This is what they're teaching them to do. I killed 10 with my own hands. May God bring you home safely, my son. Don't worry about the people you killed. Dad, go back to WhatsApp. Dad, I want you to do a live broadcast from Mephasalim. I wish I was with you. My son, my mum, your son is a hero. Now listen, this is where they teach them in these classrooms. They teach them all this stuff, right? I'm just going to pause that. I'm in Mephasalim. I killed 10. Did you kill 10? Yes, I killed 10. I am the first to enter Israel under the protection and help of Allah. Hold your head up, Father. See on WhatsApp those that I killed. Open my WhatsApp. Come back. What do you mean come back? There is no going back. It's either death or victory. My mother gave me birth for the religion. Allah. Here we go. This is it, see? This is what they teach them in these classrooms. Supplied by Unrwa. On WhatsApp, you can see the dead. Open WhatsApp on your phone. See how I killed them. Promise to come back.
One of the other things that has happened in the last couple of days are the confessions of captured Hamas terrorists, because remember, many of them managed to cross back into Gaza, but many of them were also captured and they currently prisoners in secret facilities of the Israeli Defense Forces, and they've begun to talk under interrogation, obviously, speaking about not only their preparations, but some of the terrifying incentives that were allegedly given to them to take civilian hostages.
These are the classrooms that they were teaching them all this stuff in. It's radical.
That they have people working in the Unrwa. We want to not work here. We want every international organization to work in Gaza. They're not our problem. Our problem is the Hamas.
This is the entrance of the tunnel, and this is the school of the children, the first school that under the tunnel. This is the first compound.
Now, if you look at behind, this is a classroom where they're teaching this radical Islamist kill the Jews mentality, and they'll do it if they get the chance.
Yeah, of the engineers and all of their offices. After that, you have a long tunnel. This is the Unrwa headquarters. This is the main building of the Unrwa headquarters, and under him, this is the camps.
no civilians here. The civilians that we see here, we let them go. They go south, to the south of the Gaza Strip. But Hamas are still here. They live in the underground. They fight us for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. We've killed about approximately 200 Hamas terrorists.
Now they're making out that the Israelis are deliberately killing the civilians. There are civilian casualties, and I make no excuse for that. But they're after Hamas. They're after the terrorists. And I pointed this out in one of my videos. You've got to understand that the Gaza Strip is prime property. Right, that's the Gaza Strip. Okay, and that is absolute prime land. But they couldn't turn it into that. They destroyed it. They ruined what they had. They talk about the two states. The Palestinians were given a state, but Hamas and all these other terrorists ruined it for them. And you'll see the sea there. Anything that's near the sea is known as prime land. The top of the line land. And they've destroyed it. Not Israel, Hamas.
Artillery on there.
And there's nothing wrong with that soil. Look how beautiful that soil is. They could have made it whatever they wanted, but they chose to destroy it. They chose to be terrorists. Not the Palestinian people, the Palestinian governments.